Greg Gearheart. I'm the Deputy Director of the Office of Information Management and Analysis at the State Water Board. The office is one of about 13 or 14 divisions and offices, and in particular ours was created about 10 years ago to serve as a bridge between primarily the data stewards at the time, which were organization elements like programs and stormwater and wetlands and things like that that were in need of creating databases and tracking things. So the Water Board has about 2,100 employees, and about 80% of those employees work on projects that require people to give us their information. We've, in the last 10 years, built things that are called databases that have an interface or a place to go on the web where somebody could go in and submit that information. So we have many thousands of people in California that on a regular basis, sometimes maybe only once a year at the same time, but on a regular basis they're submitting information into these databases. Now, having a giant warehouse where you store everything requires you to understand where it all is. So one of the jobs that my staff have to do is keep track of that giant warehouse and where things are kept. Because in our world, once a year we go and pull information out of that warehouse to summarize it, to tell the rest of the country and the stakeholders in California what happened during the last years. Tally it up and then put it in context with some of the other regulatory programs and data pieces that we're trying to use as our story basis. The water boards are unique in some regards in the sense that we have a performance-based management program that spans back 10 years. There are other organizations that have been doing it too, but not quite as long and not quite as in-depth in terms of covering their whole organization. So what that means is our 10th year of our performance report rolls out, it's kind of like a ho-hum, another year of planning decently and sort of meeting most of our targets and doing a little bit better here but not a little bit better there. But what's fascinating to me is that we're an organization that's doing this over time, that's getting better at it, that remains committed to it. But one of the other exciting things is this year we're enhancing that so that you can look granularly at some of the more interesting data. So we're going to roll out an inspection report card, for example, that has open data behind it. And what that means, instead of seeing numbers like how many inspections were done, 12, end of story. Open data would mean the story doesn't end there, and you can keep going farther to say where were those inspections done, what kind of facilities, what kind of outcomes were maybe achieved as a result of those inspections. The mode that we're in usually is to tell stories and to sort of be in charge. We like to stand up in front of people and say this is what we did or this is what we want to do. And what the future really requires is to use this kind of a product to engage with more and more people, citizens that care about our projects.